Guys, welcome back to another Scratch tutorial. In this tutorial, we are going to continue our shoot 'em up game that we were working on. And off camera, I made an enemy plane, and I have figured out the problem in my shooting. So now you can see it actually shoots alternate. So right now we need an if key space pressed. In this, everything has to be in an if else statement and a create clone of myself on each of these. So you can copy down this code, and we have to set side to right at the start. So now only if the key space is pressed, and also I put a wait 2 seconds, 0.2 seconds instead of the space spamming, because otherwise I'm gonna have to spam space. Now I just have to hold it, and that's a bit better. So now let's start coding our enemy. So I have this little enemy sprite. I'll move this a bit here, and I'll center it. Remember, all your sprites must be facing towards the right side, and they must be centered. And now first we need to hide the original sprite. So one flag click, hide it, and now it's gone. And take a forever loop, and you can decide how much times you want to clone. So I'm just saying like 1 second, I'll say 2 seconds. Wait 2 seconds after making a clone, so every 2 seconds it will be making a new clone. So we'll put a when I start this clone, we want it to show, otherwise it'll be hiding. And we want it to go to Y. What's the Y position of the plane? Well, that's negative 150 for the plane. Well, I don't think we can do for negative 150. Let's put it 200 because we want it from the top of the screen. And X, we want it from a random position. So 180 to negative 180. And we need a repeat until touching edge, and we want it to, like, I don't know how much steps we want it to move. I'm saying 3 steps. 3 steps is pretty good. And then we want it to delete. And you should remember, even if it doesn't look like everything's running in this order, it is. So it's going to repeat until it's touching it, and after that it's going to delete the clone. So now it should create a clone, and we want it to point towards player. We want it to point towards our player plane, and now they should be coming. So this is usually one. Oh yeah, we don't want Y200. Let's actually put. We need some experimentation for this. If we put it right 200, we put the delete this clone back. So now it should. Oh, it's not pointing towards our player plane. Now where's our real enemy? So now for some reason they're pointing that way. So let's put our point towards their plane down here. So now they're pointing. So yeah, now they're working better. So our enemies are moving down, but we can't shoot them. Our bullets just phase through them. And we don't want them to spawn at 150. I'll make it 170. just to make it a bit more smoother, looking like they're coming from the top. 170 doesn't work, 160. So yeah, 160 works. Because we just don't want these to be touching the edge, because otherwise they'll be deleting themselves. So you can see now they started deleting. So we can actually do that if their Y position is smaller than, let's say, what's our player Y? What's 150? So let's take 170. If I repeat until Y position is smaller than negative 170, so they can come from as high as you want, but because the condition is not to touch the edge, smaller than, well, negative 170. That should work. Let's see. One day. Oh yeah, that's better. So now they're coming from a higher place, and they're pointing towards our player, which is nice. But now we will make the enemies shoot now. So now it would be pretty easy, but to make it efficient, because we can't completely predict where the enemies will be and like how much enemies will be on the screen at one time. So we won't be able to predict that. That's why we will duplicate our player missile, and I'll call it enemy missile. Enemy missile. And I'll fill it with red. Well, a dark red. Pretty good. So now here we have another player missile, but the one thing is, well, you can see we have like double shots. But what we want, we will, let's see, we will make a new side variable. Let's call it side 2. And I'll replace all of these with side 2 because we don't want these to interfere with our player shooting. So now it won't interfere with our player shooting. But right now we want it to go to our enemy, and enemy. But this won't work because our enemy is actually down here. And all of this, we don't want the key space pressed. We will delete this, and this will be in the when I start, and the when I start is clone. But actually, I'll make the enemies just with one shooter, just because it'll just be a too OP. So I'll make then have just one shooter over here. So now what we want these enemies to do is, well, when flag clicked, forever create clone. We want to create a clone of our enemy missile. What is it called? Enemy missile. Enemy missile. Enemy missile. Let's just stop the script right now. So we want to create clone of enemy missile and wait, I guess, 0.5 seconds. And so now to make it efficient, we need lists. And a variable, we'll call it counter, so that the enemy's missile will know which enemy to go to. So we need 3 lists. First is X position, and then Y position, And another list, the last one, is direction. So what these lists will do, they will contain the X position, Y position, and direction of every single clone because they can't be held in a variable. So we want to add at the start, we want to, well, 1 minute I swap this out. We want to delete all of direction, delete all of X position. I'll put this in here. And delete all of Y position. So now this, we will add our direction, which is down here. We'll add our direction to direction. I'll keep X position, Y position out. And we will add 2 more. Add X, Y position, X position. Now we'll put it with the corresponding variables. So now, oh no, this is X position. So now this is our code. So now what we want to do, we want to, when I start this clone, not point in direction of player plane. We want it to take an item counter. Wait, we need to change counter by 1. We will set counter to 0 and change counter by 1. Item counter of direction. We want it to go to, we need it to go to item counter of X position and Y position. And Y position. And now this should work. Why are they going there? Let's see what the problem is because it's shooting from over here. So where's our, wait, first we need to check where our real sprite is. So it's shooting from the real sprite. So wait, we want our clones. Like we have to replace this with a when I start as clone. And not, and in the one flag clicked block stack we want to set our counter to 0. And we'll replace this with a when I start as clone. So now the clones should shoot. Yeah, now our clones are shooting. But now why are they pointing in that direction? The first plane shoots and then it starts doing that. So I think we should set counter to 1. Now that destroys everything. Okay, so I got the problem. We need to delete all in the one flag clicked and forever here. So now our plane should shoot. Yeah, now they're shooting independently and we want them to like delete themselves. We want the enemy missiles to delete themselves when they touch our player plane. So that's very simple to do. We want in our enemy missile, we want to put an OR statement and put touching player plane. And well, now they should delete themselves when they're touching the player plane. So that's it for today's tutorial. And bye!